Make a start, and I'll move us straight to item 11, simply because we've got DCL in the room. So we've got Rob Hall and Joel Lischke who are here. I'd invite you to the table, and I just want to make some overarching comments on these Q3 performance reports as we move into them. So there may well be questions, they may not, but there may be some questions. What I want to do is keep the questions to the matters that are raised in these Q3 reports. These are reports to the end of March. Obviously, life has moved on significantly since the end of March. Things have changed again, but this is not an opportunity for a free-for-all Q&A about anything and everything to do with these organisations. This is an opportunity to ask questions on the matters that are raised in these reports that cover this particular period. So having said that, Rob and Joel, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the table. Are there any comments that you wanted to make by way of introduction to this report on our agenda?
Yeah, thank you, and good morning, everybody. Look, firstly, I would just say, I guess the key activity for the quarter that is reported on was the opening of He Puna Tai Moana, the hot pools, and you'll see in the back of the report a closeout report which showed it was delivered just under budget and on time that we had set. And the other key activity which occurred was preparation to go to market for what we now call the Seaview development on the old school site in New Brighton, which was part of the New Brighton implementation plan about bringing more people to the seaside village, and that's out at market at the moment with responses in and being assessed now. There's also a little bit in there about the Christchurch Adventure Park, and perhaps I can pick up in a bit more detail on that during the PX session. So other than that, I'm happy to take questions.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions? No questions? So Tim, you're happy to move. Sam, you're happy to second this. Aaron, what's that? I'll allow a question.
Yeah, thanks guys. Just with coming in under budget and stuff on the pool, we had a deputation yesterday from Richard Peebles, and he said about us relooking at contracts and so on and so forth as an organisation, because they said everyone's up for negotiation at the moment because we just live in such a different universe, as you know. With the transition of DCL, has there been any talk of potentially you guys looking at that with us as a branch of council or not? And is that something you'd...
If I've understood the question correctly, no, but maybe we pick up on that further in the PX session.
Yeah, it was a really good presentation from Richard Peebles yesterday, and it's an opportunity, and with you guys having delivered under budget, you kind of know which way to cut the cloth.
Yeah, I mean, my 20-odd years of client-side project management of construction projects, it's about having the right team and a real level of scrutiny over costs, time and budget. And often you don't see that happening, particularly in organisations where there is a lazy project management practice or accountability frameworks in place. So those things can be tightened and managed much more stringently.
Yeah, and there's also that other problem where government departments and councils seem to get priced quite differently to other private organisations. Obviously, plumbers and stuff aren't ringing our team like they ring someone like Richard Peebles looking for work. It's quite a different setup. So would it not be better in the as the wind-up of DCL's coming is, can it transition into something that can be of a benefit to the city over the next 2 or 3 years in a different role?
Look, that's a conversation perhaps for others. I mean, look, with construction projects, my experience has been that the two fundamental approaches is the typical one, which big public sector bodies typically do, is where you will contract a main contractor who will subcontract out works, because that's safe for the purchasing organisation to manage a contract in that way. What we did with the hot pools, and we did it even more so with the playground, is we took on the lead procurement and procured a lot of the subcontractors ourselves so we could control costs. Now, there are greater levels of risk with that approach because you get into conflict if things don't happen or timing, because your main contractor will point the finger at you and want cost recovery from you. So it needs a strong level of coordination and cost management and a greater appetite for risk to manage that way. But with the right team, you can save costs in doing it like that and improve on time.
All right, thank you. All right, so I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Thank you. Now, just the way that we'll run the meeting, we've got obviously the Q3 reports in open agenda. We've got some further matters on these reports to consider in public excluded. My intention is to go through all of the Q3 reports, then deal with the Netball Centre building paper, item 13, and then deal with the PX items after that. So apologies if that causes some delay. I'm expecting to move through all of these items reasonably quickly.
Yep.
Thank you. All right.